Okay, one last time in the Ancient Inheritance. At least one last time as far as this video series is concerned. We killed the priest, so I pick up the loot from that, and I'm going to check the shop. I've got enough currency to buy a few things. I'll roll these items at the end of the video. But now that I've bought it out, I need about 3,000 more currency to finish buying out the shop. So rather than hit the respawn of the priest, we've all gone our separate ways to hunt out some loot chests and hit the major guild chests in the north and south points. I'm going to go up and hit that north point chest simply because I haven't done a video on the Ferris fight yet. So I'm off on my high-speed travel. Mostly I'm looking for gold treasure chests because I need the currency. Grab the tent for a little bit of extra provisions. I'm going to grab that artifact, or that relic I should say. I'm hoping for one that boosts currency. Unfortunately, I don't get anything of value. I'm skipping the book because I don't need any experience points. I'm already capped on my levels, so there's no real reason for me to worry about boosting my levels up. I've already got the tools necessary to kill that Ferris. I do a little bit of wandering back and forth there before I realize that the access to the Ferris is from the front, not the rear. And this is the fight. So here are the stats on the Brutal Ferris. He boosts his own speed, he boosts his own CR every time he's attacked. He scales damage more and more as you progress. But other than that, it's a straightforward damage fight, or damage race. So you want to take a lot of DPS units into this team. He is susceptible to defense breaks, so you want to make sure you have a defense break on your team. And you want to have a very strong healer. Something else to note is the Ferris gives himself a speed buff, which is annoying because he's already boosting his own speed intrinsically, so the speed buff just makes him that much harder to deal with as the fight progresses. I debated the pros and cons of what team to use for probably the better part of an hour for this fight, because it's not one that I've ever done before, I don't think in any of the prior Ancient Inheritance, much less Season 3. But this is the team that I settled on, and I'm very proud of it. Achates I put on Rod just to give her some additional healing. I took Alencia, and because it's early in the fight, I put her on Portrait of the Saviors for extra damage. If you're close to 50%, you want to run her on Symbol of Unity. Same story with Euphine. Put her on Draco Plate or some other damage artifact if you're below 50% damage on the Ferris. Kitty Clarissa, I just gave her Warhorn to help with her CR pushing and do additional damage. Make sure you turn off auto so it doesn't hose you in the fight. Luckily, activating her S3 is what I wanted to do. Every turn you take, the Ferris will self-push, even if it's a non-attack skill. I didn't get a defense break out of Euphine's S1 there. The damage was minimal, so I'm just going to use Achates' S2 on herself to give herself immortality. Hopefully I get a defense break out of Alencia, which I do, and her double attack kicks in for extra damage. Now, the Ferris has a speed debuff on, so if you use Euphine's S3, you get the bonus damage, 137k damage from Euphine's S3. Also, when you get a little deeper into the fight, if you have the souls for it, you can soul burn Euphine. She'll do her S3, which strips, does the extra damage, and then you get an extra turn. So effectively, I've got 2 turns on Euphine when I soul burn. I've got 2 turns on Alencia with her trample skill. Kitty Clarissa dual attacks, so she does damage, and she does quite a bit of damage because she is a warrior class in Ancient Inheritance with the unusual stat bonuses. And she dual attacks with the highest attack unit, which in this case is Euphine. The only one who doesn't do a whole bunch of damage is Achates, and Achates is keeping the team on its feet. There were many times when I was at death's door and Achates brought everyone back from the brink. If you fail to strip the speed buff, you can use Euphine's S2. It is also a strip skill. Other than to strip the speed buff away, there's no reason to use Euphine's S2. It does less damage than her S1, and there's no real need for AoEs here. And that's the entire bulk of this fight. Alencia does have a strip on her S3, which also gives you a defense buff. You can use that if you need to get rid of the speed buff, but honestly, the further you get into the fight, the faster the Ferris starts to move, and you just hit a point where you're pissing on a bonfire trying to take care of that speed buff. He's already going to lap you several times per turn. Oh yeah, and Kitty Clarissa, her S2 is also a strip. Although it didn't stick, it's usable, but it's kind of nice it didn't stick because it lets me do the bonus damage from Euphine. Even without a defense break, I think that was like 75 or 80k damage. And it's really nice to have a defense break on 2 of the 3 DPS units. It makes sure that the defense break uptime is very consistent. And it's only a little bit of a bonus, but make sure you turn Kitty Clarissa's imprint off so she gives the entire party 2% additional dual attack. You'd be surprised how much that helps increase the number of times you dual attack in these long fights. And when I say long fight, I mean it. This was a very long fight. But it was very satisfying as well, watching the score rack up, watching the Ferris not be able to get on top of my units, even with the increased speed and increased attack it kept giving itself. The team synergy was just so strong that I was able to stay on top of the Ferris and continue to dish out round after round of high damage. If you have any ideas on how to improve this team, I'd love to hear it. Comment section is always open, but I'll go ahead and let this play out until the end. Now, as solid as this team was, eventually the Ferris's increased attack and increased speed took its toll, and Kitty Clarissa was the first to drop. There's only so much you can do when the boss continually and exponentially increases its speed and attack. Alencia was the next to fall, which surprised me, and then finally Euphine fell by the wayside, leaving just Achates behind to deal with the fight. Achates actually held on for several rounds. I thought she might push the score up even higher. I went ahead and held on and tried to get to 4 million with her, but eventually she got killed off too. Now, one thing I didn't try, which I kind of wish I had, this boss doesn't have any kind of strip, which means theoretically you can use the Euphine cheese, where you give her her EE that extends her buffs, and then put her on counter set and have Shooting Star Achates give her the immortality buff. Theoretically, with the boss speeding up and attacking this many times, Euphine should counter enough to keep that immortality buff up permanently, just like she does in the Labyrinth with this cheese, and you might be able to solo it from top to bottom with just one run. But that boss will be dead by tomorrow, so I won't get to try that out, but it's an interesting concept. If anybody wants to give it a shot, let me know. There's plenty of videos on how to use the Euphine counter cheese. There's also one where you can use Mercenary Helga, exact same situation. Give her the immortality buff and counter set, and she'll stay alive forever. Well, that's the end of Ancient Inheritance for this season. I will be wandering around collecting the last half dozen chests that I need to buy out the shop, and then we'll just be returning to the center to spam kill the priests. I'll be using the same teams that I used in the prior video, so there won't be any need for any more videos. Last thing I'll do is roll the gear. The last time I recorded rolling this gear, it rolled really well for me. So we start out with a minimum speed roll and a maximum crit chance roll, another 5 into crit chance. This is great. I'm really angling for a destruction set on my Spectre Tenebria. Another max roll of 9. And one more big attack or crit chance roll would be amazing for this piece. You know what? I'll take it. +4 into speed. That's a really nice piece. So the neck. I've not had a lot of luck with necks, and this one would be perfect for me. Nice. Another 6 into crit chance. You know, that's okay. I want some tankiness on my Tenebria, so I will take that max roll into defense. And I'll take that max roll into attack. 3 max rolls so far. Can I get another max roll? Not max, but close to it. Another 5 into crit chance. Man, another 9 into defense or attack, I would be really set up. Or 5 speed. Can I get a 5 speed? Min speed 3. You know what? Still, it's an amazing piece. I'm really pleased with how that rolled. Man, this ring has so much potential. So we start out great with a maximum crit chance roll and a maximum speed. I don't know, 4 speed, 1 off maximum, but still really high speed roll. And a maximum crit damage roll. And another maximum crit damage roll. Holy smokes. The gear score on this piece. 1 more max speed or crit damage. Come on. A 3 speed. Ouch. That hurts. But I tell you what, it's still a banger of a piece. I really can't complain. Having 4 out of the 6 Ancient Inheritance pieces roll so well is unprecedented, so that's great luck. I mean, we won't talk about this horror show of a ring that rolled everything into defense and attack on an effect resistance piece. And the armor also was a little bit bizarre with everything rolling into defense. I'm sure I'll find a place for that somewhere, but my weapon rolled really nice and my boots rolled really nice. All in all, a very successful run of crafting for Ancient Inheritance gear. I hope that you guys roll as well, if not better. Please post screenshots of your successes and even your failures in chat. I'd love to see them. I appreciate you sticking with me for 10 whole episodes of this. And I want to give a heartfelt thank you to all of you for your comments and encouragement, both in the YouTube comment section as well as in stream chats. It really means a lot, and it kept me going through a lot of this. Special shout out to Car6. Check him out on Twitch TV /car_6. Link in the description. Fantastic streamer and one of my greatest supporters. We'll do it again for season number 4.